And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are talking the Brazilian Grand Prix and an absolute masterclass, Senna-esque in the wet by Max Verstappen. Some may say a bit lucky, like Lando said, with the red flag. Yes, maybe. Lando could have been lucky with that red flag in qualifying, but ultimately, throughout the course of the season, you do make your own luck. No penalties here for Max Verstappen. Clean racing for Max Verstappen, a champion's drive, a race where he started in 17th, and it really could have potentially gone two ways. Yay for Lando, and nay for Max, or yay for Max, nay for Lando, and that's pretty much the way it went. An awesome drive by Max Verstappen. Let's get into it. So a masterclass from start to finish. Well done, Max Verstappen at the Brazilian Grand Prix. In a car, without, to be fair, it was really hard to know which car was fast. He was quite mega in the sprint, to the point where, in hindsight now, looking how fast he was on that Brazilian track, without that virtual safety car, could Max have won the sprint? Possibly. Unfortunately, he did, by his own admission, his own fault, get that penalty in the sprint. But Lando Norris's championship, not looking particularly great at the moment, is it? I think Max has two hands on that championship. But let's not forget the double podium by BWT Alpine. Absolutely fantastic as well. I mean, it is just awesome, isn't it? I'm gonna quickly adjust this here. I mean, I was so happy. At one point, I thought Ocon could win this. He was, even when it was wettest, he was driving away from Max. And let's be fair, in an inferior car, he was doing an absolutely monumental drive. But in the end, Max Verstappen got the better of him. So well done. And well done to, obviously, Pierre Gasly as well. And unfortunately, George Russell and Lando Norris, they just couldn't get by. And then Lando Norris, some saying bottled it. He did make a mistake in difficult conditions, granted, but still. So here was your top 10. Obviously, first, Max Verstappen. Second, Esteban Ocon. Third, Pierre Gasly. Then we had George Russell in fourth, Charles Leclerc in fifth, Lando Norris sixth, Yuki Tsunoda in seventh, Oscar Piastri eighth, Liam Lawson in ninth, and Lewis Hamilton in 10th. For the full rundown, though, here we go. Here's the now driver standings, and it is Max Verstappen 393 points. Yeah, he's like, many points now ahead of Lando Norris, to the point where it is almost insurmountable, pending an absolute miracle for Lando and an absolute disaster for Max Verstappen. Leclerc is third, and then you've got obviously Piastri and then Carlos Sainz. So, there you're kind of like top 5, 6. Russell and Hamilton there. Russell now, incidentally, 2 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton not doing particularly well at all, is he, in the race? And let's get into it. Let's get into that, shall we? So, welcome to your winners and losers are for the F1 Brazilian Grand Prix. So, what a weekend it was. I mean, red flags galore, basically. So we only have 3 races left of the season, which kind of makes me a bit sad, really, if I'm honest. So, Hulkenberg. Let's start off with Nico Hulkenberg, shall we? He got disqualified. Not really his fault. Well, it was his fault because he ended up in that position, but he got help from the stewards. Okay. I think we can give him a pass. I wouldn't say he's completely outshone by Ollie Behrman, but it showed how good Ollie Behrman is. But Ollie Behrman didn't have particularly the best race. But let's talk about the guy that had the worst race. And it's this guy here. It is Lance. It is Lance Stroll. For the life of me, okay, on the formation lap, I mean, yes, even one of my favourites, David Coulthard, on the formation lap, did a whoopsie, so to speak. I think what was it in Italy, but still. Now I don't know how you can explain. We need to look at it. Here it is. Here it is on Twitter. Okay, so
still afford more.
Let's just keep the volume down. Okay, this is Lance. This is Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll spins his car. Okay, I got it. He spins his car. Fair enough, right? He's kind of like makes it into the barrier. At this point, okay, a bit silly. It's wet. You're on the formation lap. I kind of understand. Yeah. I mean, hashtag team nepotism, because then he's like, okay, I need to reverse it. It is hard to reverse the Formula 1 cars. Jolly well, it is hard to reverse those Formula 1 cars. But then he does something that is absolutely, I don't understand for the life of me amongst all the Sundays, etc., etc. What on earth he ends up doing in a second? Here we go. Yeah, why not? Why not drive it into the gravel? Yes, yes, absolutely. In my Toyota Yaris Rally 1 car. Oh no, I've got stuck. This is why Lance Stroll should not be in Formula 1. What on earth? I mean, come on. No. It was just ridiculous. So, I mean, unless a very good reason comes out, what the actual for Lance Stroll? Oh my gosh. It kept me entertained anyway. I don't know about the rest of you, but wow. Next up, we've got Alexander Albon, who didn't start the race, qualified. Could have qualified as high as second. He was second when he went out. Whoops a daisy, just lost it. It is wet, so you got to give that when he lost it, but damaged his car so much he wasn't in the race. Massive shame for Williams. And speaking of Williams drivers, this guy here as well brought out, I think, the red flag. So Red Bull are going to be very happy. He Latifi'd Lando Norris, so to speak. Yeah, Franco Colapinto. Yeah, it was a bit of a silly accident under the safety car. It looked like he aquaplaned. But be careful under the safety car. I mean, yeah. But then Carlos Sainz, I think, on the white lines. Another guy, I mean, this is my frustration with Carlos Sainz. We were all loving him in Mexico. Carlos this and Carlos that. The issue now is we're now in Brazil and we get a completely different Carlos Sainz who throws it into the wall on what was a bit of a silly move. Yes, it is wet, but that's Carlos Sainz. Is that why they swapped Hamilton for Carlos Sainz? I guess only time will tell, because to be fair, Lewis Hamilton didn't exactly set the world alight, did he, on his race? So the guy that finished last on the track was Zhao Guanyu. Yeah, so well done for actually finishing the race. I think absolute bonus points for that. And the guy that finished the second to last on the track, he ended up being what? If Zhao was 14th, this guy was 15th. This guy was 14th. I believe that's also his number. Is this man here, Fernando Alonso, infinitely better than Lance Stroll, and he made up about 20 seconds, didn't he? Even Ted said, he was on a mission. Really, for him and that car, really quick. So well done, Fernando Alonso. I don't really want to call you a loser, but you did damage the car a bit, but yeah, okay. Not Alonso's best moment, really. Valtteri Bottas ends up one ahead of Alonso in 13th. Unlucky for some. Average, yeah, I guess that's where you guess Bottas is going to be. Not particularly great, but also not particularly bad was this guy here, Ollie Behrman. There was flashes of brilliance throughout the weekend, and then he reminded us, like Colapinto, he's still a rookie. He's still got a bit to go, but still, I think the way he raced, I think he can take massive things, massive evidence that this guy could be very, very interesting. He is aggressive. Maybe that's something Lando needs to learn. He's very confident, and it feels like he's kind of like got nothing to lose because he knows he's going to be in the Haas next year. So that's Ollie Behrman in 12th. Sergio Perez did not score any points, despite quite obvious, potentially having the best car, at least in Max Verstappen's hands it was. So you got to think, this guy, no points. Why is he here? I don't know. Next, we have Lewis Hamilton. Well, was there any point in him turning up, really? I mean, I love you, Lewis, but not the best race in the world. Can it be attributed to the car? Maybe. His car, maybe it's a lot different to George Russell's, just the same as Sergio Perez is to Max Verstappen's. I think we're not really going to get the true answer until this man goes to Ferrari and he goes up against Charles Leclerc. But not a great weekend. Not his worst weekend this year. That very much was the United States. But everyone was quite critical of this guy in Mexico. But here, yes, this guy races hard, especially if your name is Sergio. He raced hard against those, hard but fair this time. There wasn't that that craziness we had in Mexico. So well done, Liam Lawson. Absolutely fantastic. I think. Yeah, I mean, did he show enough? Even in this race, he finished ahead of Perez. That's what he needs to do, I guess. Did he show enough? Possibly. So next up, we've got the first of the big disappointments. Yeah, I mean, he should have been higher up in qualifying. He arguably had a very solid car. Oscar Piastri, oh dear, with his 10-second penalty on his fight against Liam Lawson. Yeah, not good enough here, Oscar. Also in the sprint race, but I'm sorry, very much not good enough there with your 8th place. But one guy who did very good, he was 3rd. And sadly, he didn't finish there. He finished 7th. Well done to Yuki Tsunoda, an absolute winner. You, sir, did fantastic, I think. A lot better than the guy that finished just ahead of you. Oh, wow, did this guy drop the ball? Did the team drop the ball? Yes, he did say Max got a bit lucky. Yes, Max did get a bit lucky. But we'll talk about that in a second. But here we go. He lost the lead at the first corner. In the second phase, he actually got a really good initial start. And it was that second phase where he lost the lead, so it's kind of sad. And then it was him versus George Russell. Didn't really have the chance to pass to George. That could have been because the McLaren did not have straight line speed. He made a couple of mistakes. The big one going off, basically, I don't know whether he had the TomTom giving him wrong directions in the car on the restart. Yep. Don't turn left, Lando. Go straight on, and that's exactly what he did at the restart. Kind of embarrassing, and he never really recovered back from there, really, did he? And incidentally, he had luck of the safety car in his first win in Miami, didn't he? I mean, that was an absolutely fantastic race in Miami. This was a stone bonker as well. Said Charles Leclerc. Charlie Leclerc, 5th. Could he have done better? I don't know. I think that's the maximum maybe the Ferrari could do. Here, it just didn't seem that fast. But a strong drive. He held off Max Verstappen until the Ferrari pit wall basically became the Red Bull pit wall, didn't they, to help Max out by pitting him unnecessarily early. What was that about? Absolutely ridiculous. I don't know. Poor Charles Leclerc. He was racing against 3 people, Max Verstappen and his pit wall at that time. Yeah, it's just not good at all. Next up, we have George of the Russell. A solid race. It was interesting because he did not want to come, and he said, I knew this would happen. I told you not to pit me. He was very cross, and it would have been interesting to see how him and Max would have done fighting for the lead. I still think at some point you've got to wonder Max probably would have got him, but 4th, he just could not get past the Alpine boys. Most significantly, the Alpine boy of Pierre Gasly. I mean, well done to Alpine. Massive thumbs up there. You guys did fantastic, and so did Esteban Ocon. I mean, a guy with that at one point thought this guy could genuinely win it. He didn't. He lost by 20 seconds in the end from what was an absolute marvel from Max, but we suggested that from the sprint race, Max Verstappen did have a lot of pace. But well done to Esteban Ocon. A double podium, but the man of the race, you've got to give it to him. Yes, people are saying. I still think, if that red flag had come out, the amount of pace he had, the amount of confidence he had breaking into the first corner, I still think there's a good chance he would have won without that red flag. The test would have been those tyres and how long he could have stayed in them and when he would have pitted on those tyres, because he had so much pace. It would have been really, really interesting, but I still think he was potentially on to win that race, given the speed he had, given the confidence he had of passing other cars. So, Max Verstappen, we're not talking penalties here, no controversies. You were the man in Sao Paulo. This is the Max we want to see, not the whiny Max, not the Max that pushes people off. This Max here, this was a championship drive. This is the days that champions show their true colours. Just like Hamilton did in 2021 in Brazil, Max Verstappen did in 2024. Massively well done there. So, there we go. That's pretty much our winners and losers from the Brazilian Grand Prix 2024. If you liked what you see, please give us a subscribe. That will make us very happy. And until then, stay safe. Give us a like, a notification. Become a multiple world champion in our eyes by doing 2 of them, or at least 1. And we'll speak to you soon.